I think one of the things I think about youth crime is that a lot of people don't give responsibility to the individuals involved. So I think that a lot of work can be done around kind of who the people actually involved in youth crime and how they get from a place where they're only responsive to enforcement and get into a place where they can be responsive to what's actually going on for them. So I think there's a lot about kind of bringing it back to the individual that I would like to see happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I would have to. Yeah, I mean, I think in the cases, and certainly like in the neighborhoods that I'm familiar with, and the backgrounds that the kids are coming from, they're coming from tough backgrounds, tough situations where if they have two parents, they're really struggling to get by, and there's a. Yeah, I don't know if responsibility is the way to deal with that, or whether it's like lower down, where they're just trying to get by themselves. To deal with gangs, they have to be in a gang.
Absolutely. And I've got friends, and my sons have got friends, where the dad's at the pub, the mother's at bingo or doing what she's got to do, and they're leaving the children to their own devices. Now, my son, you've got to give him an incentive. My son's got computers. He's a wizard. If he never had that, he'd be bored. You've got to keep him occupied, teenagers.
Being together and being close is really important in a family, and Clara likes it when we're all together and notices it when people aren't around in the family. So I think that is really part of it. But I don't think it's very easy to just say, well, we have to have strong families, because you can't go and make people be a strong family. And I think that is some of the problems that we've got with the current government, saying, right, the Tories are the same, saying we have to make people into strong families, and we're going to do that by tax breaks that make people stay together, or we're going to do that. So while I agree with you, I'm not really sure what the answer to that is. I do think that some of the stresses that a lot of families go through are economic, and I think getting the basics right for people in their communities, making sure that their communities are clean, making sure that people have enough money for the basics of life will take the stress out of a lot of family life.
I think the economic element has an impact or has its part to play, but coming from a place where it's a lot about how do people communicate what's happening. Like if a relationship is really kind of completely over, then it's really over. But sometimes I think it gets to that place because there's lack of kind of emotional language, there's a lack of kind of upfront communication between the actual family. So between the kids, or between the parents, or between the grandparents. How do they actually deal with issues that come up? How do they deal with problems that come up for them? And I think there's a lot around learning how to deal with conflict or deal with issues that can be supporting them in having more of a chance to sustain a longer relationship, and like giving them the tools to actually have a deeper conversation around it. Because I know a lot of people are quite reactionary, like something happens and then there's a big fight and then it's all over, versus kind of like looking and exploring a bit deeper about what's going on with that. And sometimes you need an extra person for that. It would be your aunt, the auntie, or the mother-in-law, or whoever traditionally. But if there's a family which has not really got those kind of support systems, who comes in to actually make that happen?
I think maybe like the most important thing is just to not feel that you can deal with it, or government can deal with it, or community can deal with it by coming in and imposing certain behavior restrictions or trying to impose attitudes on people. It seems like it needs to come from the people themselves, a solution.
I think when people have got positive role models, like when they've got something to work towards, they've got something to be proud of, that quite often gives them the kind of drive to do something themselves, So I think if people are supported to achieve, then there'll be a knock-on effect. Right. Because I'm a young person, I would see someone achieving something, then I might feel like I could achieve something too.
For sure, and I guess the first thing I'd want to do would be to talk to the youth themselves and how do they feel about the situation?
To go around where young people go around and ask them questions like why did you do that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, and the very people who are like implicated in these crimes or people are suspicious of.
Where they do horrible things and around alleyways and stuff at night time.
To give them some information and stuff and tell them to just sort out their life. set stuff up like this and give information forms and stuff.
Because sometimes you can be telling the truth and adults think you're lying because it's a silly thing, but sometimes it's true.
Giving them positive choices. It's like tell them to sort out their life, or if they don't, like give them a choice to sort out their life or do bad stuff. Or if they do bad stuff, then you're going to have to go to court. I give them a choice to see.
They won't listen to you. They just put up a shutter if that's the advice you're giving them. Because they're thinking we're a different generation, we don't know where they're coming from, we never lived in these circumstances. They always think that we're old-fashioned, which isn't true, because we've all been young and we know all the pressures that are out there. But it's hard for teenagers to listen to your experience because they think that you haven't been young. They forget that you were once where they are. So I always tell them, we're telling you from experience, you're allowed to make that mistake, but at least when you do make that mistake, you will remember that my auntie or my friend or this teacher told me that if you do this, this is what would happen to you.
I think young people should not just like go without their mum knowing, because the mum's really supposed to know where they're actually going, because I don't know, because they could get lost and something could happen. So, yeah.
Maybe like if you just want to go to the corner shop and maybe go and see some friends and they think, well, you could get caught up with a gang there, but then you can just ask them and they might let you, but if they're being a bit overreactive, they might say no, or they might just say, no, it's too dangerous out there.
I think all young people should stop like cigarettes, anything tobacco and all that. I think they should stop it because later on in life it's going to do something to your lungs and God knows you could die with it. Yeah.
Smoking for a young kid is bad. I'm a smoker. I tell them I started off because I wanted to look cool and it was the thing to do, but I'm trying to give up. I expect them to look at us as examples. So I'll tell you it's bad. I know you might take it up because I did, but it's not a good thing. And you'd know that when you're struggling to give up this bad habit that you thought you were old enough to take up, you'll understand that, oh, maybe they were right and I should have listened.
Maybe they're stressed, they've had a hard past and gone through violence, moved and all that.
You're not really allowed to make, well, it's good if you can have some say in what you do, but most of all it's the adult's decision, I think.